So writing a check for half comes from the parable of the unjust steward in Luke 16. And we say writing a check for half because it puts it even more into perspective and even more simply for people to sort of understand. Because it actually says, he talks to one of the servants or one of the guys, and he says, how much do you owe the Lord or the master or whatever? And he says he owes 100, and he says, so write a bill for 50. So he's half in the check. So, and he's actually commended by Yeshua in the parable, obviously, for doing so. But the other person he talks to, he says that they owe 80, which is more than 50, obviously, because he also owes 100. And what this is actually getting to is that the reason why the unjust steward is wiser than the children of light is because of how he understands the law and the prophets. Because when you understand the law and the prophets, you know that Israel doesn't owe as much as Judah. That's what this is alluding to. So you've got Israel, the northern kingdom, who was scattered into the Gentiles and never returned. Isaiah 44 tells you that Israel is rising up right now out of the Gentiles, surnaming themselves Israel, ascribing to the name of the Lord, realizing that they are Jacob. They're supposed to be serving God and teaching the people in the church to return to the Holy Covenant. So that's what Israel owes. They're not in the land of their inheritance, so they actually can't owe as much as Judah. But Judah are in the land of their inheritance, so they actually still owe more. So what's Judah doing right now that we can't? They're in the land of their inheritance. They're doing the feast in the land, but they're not on the right calendar. And in their calendar, they're using the name of false gods. That's not allowed. They've allowed idols in the land. They've tolerated all these religions, especially the Christian Catholic Church. And that's basically polluting God's land. So you can't be doing the feasts in the land, even in that case. Like, look at Deuteronomy 12 and 16. So they're using the names of false gods. They've polluted the land with idols. So they owe more because they're in the land of their inheritance. And that's what it's talking about. Whereas Israel, we can say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Hi, baby. And we can say the days of the week because we're in captivity. God doesn't hold that against Israel because we're not in the land of our inheritance. What we owe the Lord is to love God and neighbour, which is to keep the Holy Covenant, return to the Holy Covenant, keeping the Sabbath day holy, abstaining from idols. This is Acts 15. So you've got to keep the Holy Covenants of Promise from Ephesians 2. Acts 15 in Ephesians 2 is the same thing. That is the milk. It's talking to the Gentiles. You need to keep the two everlasting covenants because they're everlasting no matter where you dwell in. We don't be doing the feasts in captivity. We can utter the names of false gods. Don't let anyone say, you can't say this or that because it's a false god. That's adding stumbling blocks to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And what does the Messiah say to those people? Whereas in Judah, they owe more because they're in the land of their inheritance. So they owe 80. Writing a check for half is what you preach to Israel within the Gentiles.